It's important to know whether you're coming or going. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1 of the Torah portion, Bo. Bo is a word that means either come or go, depending on the context. So for this usage, in chapter 10 of the book of Shemot, or Exodus, we're going to use the idea of come, although you could say go. Verse 1 says, "And Yahweh said to Moshe," the scripture says, "Go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, so that I show these signs of mine before him, and that you relate in the hearing of your son and your son's son what I have done in Mitzrayim, and my signs which I have done among them, and you shall know that I am Yahweh." So the idea is that Yah is either saying to Moshe, go into Pharaoh, and that would be a command. I want you to go to him, and I want you to relate a certain thing to him. But let's use the opposite. If we were to say that Yah was saying to him, come into Pharaoh, there's a little subtle hint that would be taken, and that is that Yah is where Pharaoh is, and while Pharaoh believes himself to be supreme ruler, a sovereign, as the physical incarnation of his version of the sun god, Yah said, come in here, Moshe. I want to show you something. And ultimately, what Moshe is going to see is this human being on the throne is just that. He's just a man. He's just a physical realm human being. And I, Yahweh, I am the one who rules and reigns this earth. I am the one who will raise up leaders and also cast them down. Matter of fact, I can raise up nations and cast down nations. So I like the idea of Yah saying to Moshe, come. And that is that he is going to pull back the curtain, as in The Wizard of Oz, and reveal that all of the racket, the thunder, the lightning, the sound effects, all of the threats, it's just a little guy behind the curtain pulling levers. This man is no one for you to be afraid of. So it's even another step in that Yah is inviting Moshe to come in to the depth of understanding that Pharaoh, while he believes himself to be making his own personal choices by his sovereign right, he is a mere puppet to the demonic forces that seek to rule over him and the nations. And here is something that maybe we want to keep in mind. When we read news events, and we hear reports about evildoers in the earth and all that they're saying and boasting about, planning to do, threatening to do, no matter who they are, most of them are just puppets of some demonic foe, some principality, some spiritual realm of darkness entity that is playing them like an instrument, that is maneuvering their minds, shaking their hands, pushing them into a certain mindset. So when imperialism rises up in a nation and they suppose that they have an empirical right to go and conquer territory and to take over the sovereignty of another nation, they can point to whatever treaties or contracts or previous land boundaries that they want. But the current agenda is, more often than not, in my understanding, just simply leaders being pressed, pushed, impressed, maneuvered into a certain means of activity to bring about war. What happens in war? Blood is shed. What do gods want? What do these spiritual entities want that are of the darkness? They want blood sacrifice. It doesn't seem too hard to put one and one together and get two here. So let's understand then a couple of things that we should glean from this this command from Yah to Moshe. Number one, he says, I have hardened his heart. And while, yes, demonic foes maneuver people and do what they do, Yah says, in this situation, Moshe, it's not the devil, it's not demons, it's me. I'm the one that is doing this. So therein, again, as we see world events, before we immediately accuse Hasatan or some power of darkness, we might also understand Yah is using those powers of darkness to accomplish his purposes. And that's maybe another important little snippet here, and that is, even when evil seems to prevail, Yah is in ultimate control and in charge, and the evil seems to be, keyword seems to be, prevailing and dominating at the moment. But in the larger scheme of things, the broader context of things, Yah has a means of revealing his will and his purposes. So even when evil people do evil things, Yah is still in charge and bringing about an ultimate end result that he has already set up. We may not see it, maybe not even in our generation, but it will ultimately be produced. So number one, then Yah is the one who's hardened Pharaoh's heart. He's in control. And we should find the balance of what it means to walk with Yah and understand how it is that he's working. In Psalms chapter 2, the first 4 verses read, "Why do the nations rage and the people meditate emptiness? The sovereigns of the earth take their stand and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his Messiah and say, let us tear apart their bonds and throw away their ropes from us. He who is sitting in the heavens laughs, and Yah mocks them." And I've said this many times, I'll say it again. Don't get upset, wring your hands, and worry yourself to death about those things that Yah is laughing about. And so the application for us would be that if we're brought into leadership, then we need to do leadership, function as a leader, Yah's way. In the book of Mark, chapter number 10, beginning with verse number 42, Yeshua said, calling them near, said to them, "You know that those who think to rule the nations are masters over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them." When he says nations here, he's talking about the Goyim, or the Gentile people. And he says continually, "But it is not so among you, but whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever wishes to be first among you shall be servant of all. For even the son of Adam did not come to be served, but to serve and to give himself as a ransom for many." Kepha in 1 Kepha chapter 5, verse 2 and 3, he said, "Shepherd the flock of Elohim which is among you, serving as overseers, not by compulsion, but voluntarily, not out of greed for filthy gain, but eagerly, neither as masters over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock." So there is a right way to serve as a leader. And that's just it. Leaders are not just those who stand out front and command people to follow after them, but a righteous leader is one who recognizes his role, or her role is to minister to those that are entrusted to them in whatever capacity that might be. The goal is to edify, to encourage, to bring to maturity, to establish and correct doctrine and understanding, to lead by an example of righteous living, righteousness, purity of heart, seeking justice for those that have been mistreated, and revealing Yeshua to those that are looking for him. Tall order. Come in and see how Yah is doing what he's doing. Know whether you're coming or going. and we'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.